What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the basement. Pete here with a segment episode for you. We've got a couple comics to review for you. We've got a couple of honorable mentions. You'll notice I'm joined by a couple of Marvel characters. We'll get to them too. Right off the bat, Daniel Erdl sent me a letter. It says, hey Pete, I know you have a CGC collection, and I was wondering how hard or expensive it is to get comics graded, and which company do you prefer, CGC or PGX? Good question. Daniel, in order to get your comics graded by the CGC, you have to go to a convention and turn them in there. The only other way to do it is either you have to find one of your local comic dealers that's a certified CGC representative and have them turn in your books for you, or you can join the Collectors Society, which is going to cost you about $100 a year, and it's totally worthless. You get a little membership card, you get a couple of CGC discounts, but unless you're turning over book after book after book, it's not going to be worth it to you. If you're just looking to grade a couple of books here and there that you really like, don't do it. Unless you're looking to make a business out of this, the Collector Society is not worth it to you. It wasn't worth it to me either. As far as CGC or PGX, I prefer CGC. If I'm getting my books graded, I'm going to turn them into them just because... I don't know really how it happened. It was kind of like the beta versus VHS war, I think. But CGC just seems to have come out on top, and their books are honestly worth more money. You can have the same grade of like a 9.4, and the CGC is going to command more money. Not that I'm ever selling my graded books anyway. I'm doing that to keep them, protected, because I think it's the best way to do that. It's an airtight little plastic bag, and then it comes in the hard plastic case on top. So it's pretty much the best protection money can buy for your comics. I will not buy a CGC book online. They're too fucking expensive. I will not buy one at a convention. If I'm going to do something CGC, I'm going to slab it myself. The odds on me buying a CGC book are really, really slim. I can't say I've never done it. I've done it once or twice before. One was for a Michael Turner signature that obviously I can't get now. And the other was when I picked up my Fantasy 15, I picked up one book that happened to be CGC'd already. Anyway, PGX, I could probably stand to buy one of those already slabbed, and I'd probably take it out and turn it into the CGC if I were to get it signed or something for the Signature Series, if I were, planning on doing that with a book. As far as pricing goes, it's going to depend on the age of the book. For the most part, average CGC is going to run you probably no more than $200. And the $200 tier is a two-day turnaround. They're going to grade your book in 24 hours, and FedEx it right back to you. The cheapest you're going to get it graded for is about $40 plus, whatever you want to insure it for, and that's totally up to you. If you insure it up to like 50 grand, it's like $1,000 or something like that. So it's roughly like, 5% or whatever it is, 10% of the market value that you deem worthy. And that's, that's your choice. But yeah, the $40 tier is going to be about a month and a half turnaround. So as long as you trust these guys with your books, I think it's a perfectly good way of keeping them protected. I specifically use my friends at Desert Wind Comics. I met these guys at a convention one time. What they do is they handle Signature Series books specifically for nominal costs. Honestly, it's not much. It's going to cost you maybe $150 or so for a Stan Lee signature, which in the grand scheme of things ain't much. It sure shit beats waiting online with fanboys and having to run for a ticket or get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to be the first one in line for a 30-ticket fucking event. Screw that. I'll spend the money. I don't want to deal with crowds and people. I just want to collect and be done with it. Other than that, that's really the only time I do CGC is if I'm looking to protect something or if I want to do Signature Series, which seems to be my current obsession, because everybody needs at least one, right? So, yes, Daniel, hope I've answered all your questions, and let's move on. Okay, first up this week, we see Marvel's first .1 issue. We have 500.1. It is merely a long-ass soliloquy by Tony Stark, kind of summing up his life at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. At one point, he's talking to these guys at AA, and he's like, life has gotten weird. Believe me, you have no idea how weird. And the panel is him in front of Fing Fang Foom. So, it's little stuff like that, and then it's Then he's talking about how his life started to go off the rails again. They show the death of Captain America. And then there's another point where he's, I just had to clear my mind. And then they show, like last year when he had to fucking delete all the memories that he had to keep his knowledge safe from Norman Osborn. So it's just a recap issue. Expect the same thing with Spider-Man and Thor and Captain America and whatever other Marvel book is going to get the .1 treatment. I guess if you're looking for a character to jump onto, or if you've been so fed up with your characters of late, that this may be a good jump-on point for you. And it gives you kind of a cool look into coming this year to the pages of Invincible Iron Man. It gives you a double-page spread of just like a couple of panels that have been drawn already. So that's kind of cool. I didn't hate this. It was a bit long to get through just listening to Tony talk about his life, and kind of nothing happens in the book. So, either way, not so bad. If you're a big Iron Man fan, or if you want to be an Iron Man fan, then that's definitely the book for you. It's a good recap, and it tells you pretty much exactly what's going on. Before I get to this, I want to bring up Amazing Spider-Man, and we'll talk about what is going to be going on in the pages of Amazing Spider-Man. Now, this current story is Spidey versus Alistair Smythe and an army of insect-themed spider slaves, including Matt Gargan back as the Scorpion in an all-new badass costume. I'm happy to see that. The Scorpion was always actually my favorite Spider-Man villain. Peter Parker's boss is kind of figuring out that he is Spider-Man, so that's going to be an interesting thing to see how that turns out. I mean, his boss is a brilliant scientist. It didn't take long for him to figure that out, so I'm a little happy with that. But the big news in Spider-Man has been the new Venom, which we've seen ad pages popping up all over our beloved comic books. And apparently, thanks to Jorge Burgos for helping me out with some rumors online that I had not heard until Jorge posted it on our Facebook, the new Venom is going to be Flash Thompson. I suspected as much, given the way they've been setting shit up. Flash Thompson loses his legs as a war hero in Afghanistan. He's kind of down on his luck, and now the new Venom looks very much like a Punisher kind of soldier character. And, a lot of the fans are up in arms about this already, but I'm going to give this a chance for this reason and this reason alone. This opens up a world of interesting stories if done right. How much faith do I have in them doing it right? Not much. But nonetheless, what you may be able to look forward to is an interesting concept of the costume. The symbiote kills you. It gives you cancer. It erodes your entire body until it's a frail frame of itself, and then leaves you for someone else. That's what a symbiote does. It's a parasite. And to see what it's going to do to Flash Thompson is going to be interesting. So obviously I don't think he's going to be Venom for too long. The other thing is, like, Flash doesn't have his legs anymore. He doesn't feel like a hero like he was in Afghanistan, and now he's going to be able to have superpowers. He's emulated Spider-Man. He's looked up to Spidey all his life. Since the 1960s, this has been the case with Flash Thompson, which kind of made an interesting duality with him and Peter Parker. But nonetheless, he looked up to Spidey all his life, and now it's his opportunity to be like Spider-Man, to be a hero. And when Spidey's going to be the one to turn around and tell you, listen, Flash, you can't keep that costume, it's going to kill you. No, well, fuck you. I'm going to keep the costume because I get to be a hero like you. Don't be jealous and this and that. That's what I foresee happening. That's probably how I write it. So that's going to be interesting. On the other hand, Flash Thompson loves Spider-Man. The symbiote hates him. So there's going to be an interesting clash there to see how they react to each other, since the symbiote is obviously alive. For anybody that has had their head in the sand for the past 20 years. So that's going to be interesting. I hope Flash Thompson doesn't wind up hating Spider-Man when he tells him he has to take the costume off. I do know that they're planning a Venom ongoing series, which doesn't really sound like happiness to me. That leads me to believe Flash is going to be Venom a lot longer than he needs to be. But, I mean, if we've learned anything from Marvel, it's that Venom series don't work. Ever. So, that's all I have to say about that. I guess we'll just play wait and see and hope Marvel doesn't fuck it up entirely. Next up is DC Universe Online Legends. This is a book, I don't know if this is inspired by the highly anticipated game. Now, I don't play online video games because I fear that I'll never get back to my real life if I get sucked up into some online superhero or fantasy video game. So I don't do that. But I wanted to pick up the book for you guys and let you know this actually was not a horrendous story. The cover is not Ed Benes' greatest work. Wonder Woman's Fotch here looks pretty fucky. But the cover, it's kind of cool, like once you get to the back and everything. It's just Wonder Woman's face that bothers me. The whole story consists of Lex Luthor killing Superman and a bunch of the rest of the heroes with the help of Brainiac, who promised him that when all the heroes were dead, he would control Earth. Brainiac lied, like machines do. Apparently, Lex Luthor's never seen Terminator. So basically now Luthor is running from Brainiac. He manages to overpower the circuits in his biosuit and everything, and he manages to put together a ragtag group of heroes, amongst them the Atom, Power Girl, and Solomon Grundy. Solomon Grundy is a superhero. We've got a new kind of Justice League on the verge of forming here, and this is all to take on Brainiac. I don't know where DC's going with this. I don't know if this is an ongoing, if this is going to be limited. I can't imagine it's going to continue forever. I don't know if this is a lead-in to the game. I don't really care enough. If you're going to play the game, let me know. If you've read this or know more about it than I do, absolutely please let us know. Like I said, the story wasn't bad. It was actually an interesting enough story. Maybe I'll pick up issue 2. I guess we'll find out in a month when it comes out. Transformers Infestation, issue 1. I picked up the B cover because I liked it better. This was good. I am so glad it was good because I really wanted to like it. Basically, it has Galvatron and the rest of the Decepticons landing on Earth with a zombie infestation already on their ship. The Autobots attack the Decepticons, and the whole time Galvatron and the rest of the Decepticons are like, "Look, you assholes, not us, them." So he's like, "We're not your enemies, this and that," and they just kind of jump right into it. Like, here are the zombies, get them. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want a whole bunch of where did these assholes come from, what the fuck is going on. No, this is going to be 2 issues, kill the zombies, done. Stop. And IDW is definitely doing this event right. They're throwing it right at you. There's not a lot of explanation, which is, Marvel and DC like to talk you to death. They like to explain every fucking single little thing and hear every single character's take on what the fuck is going on. I'm not interested. I want to see some action. It's a comic book. It's not a soap opera. Nevertheless, Infestation is good. If you like zombies, if you like 80s franchises, which IDW seems to have on lockdown, this is definitely the book for you. I'm going to pick up the whole shebang, even Star Trek, which I'm not that into it. I was never a Trekkie to begin with. I don't care enough about it, but I'm going to get it just to have the whole thing. So I will let you know as soon as, pretty much I'll be updating you on every issue. I really, really like it so far. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, has been coming out for the past couple of months. Issue 155 and a half came out back on Free Comic Book Day last May, and they've been coming out like clockwork ever since. And this story is actually continuing the original Marvel story, which ended with G.I. Joe number 155, and it's written once again by Larry Hama, who's picking up his original story. It has nothing to do with the IDW continuity of G.I. Joe. This is right back to Marvel, which I'm really glad they got the rights to do this, because a lot of people felt really cheated when G.I. Joe just abruptly ended and Marvel canceled the series, which is now almost 15 years ago, I think. Something like that. Anyway, this is really cool. If you were a fan of the G.I. Joe series back then, I highly suggest you pick this one up. If you weren't, then this is not the book for you, but I know I'm talking to a couple of people out there, and this is definitely you should not be sleeping on, because I've actually been catching up on all of my books lately. I'm a couple of months behind with a lot of series like G.I. Joe and X-Men and stuff like that, so I'll be reading a lot of bullshit here and there, and probably remarking on things that have happened months ago, like, what was that war that the X-Men had? I haven't even read it yet. I have all the issues, haven't read it yet. But I'll be getting to that. G.I. Joe Real American Hero is up to issue 162. You don't have too far to backtrack. You can enjoy all kinds of goodies like the Dreadnoughts, the Brainwave Scanner, Cobra Commander's son, Billy, and Trucial Abysmia, and the Silent Castle all over again. It makes me feel like I'm a kid. G.I. Joe was the very first comic book I picked up. Specifically, it was G.I. Joe issue 106 or 105. So this is pretty cool. I'm really enjoying that. Something else I enjoyed from our good buddies at Radical, Time Bomb, issues 1 through 3, finite series. Basically what happens here is we accidentally set off this old German secret weapon from World War II. Excuse me. Basically there's this hidden city under Berlin that Hitler was building as kind of a bunker, and we accidentally set off this gigantic fucking death weapon called the Wunderwaffen or something like that. I don't speak German, but I think I'm pronouncing it right. I'm definitely not. Either way, we set this thing off, and it's a biological killer. It's killing people like immediately upon infecting their bodies, and we're looking at the destruction of the entire world in the next 48 to 72 hours. So one nerdy scientist turns around and says, well, do you guys remember the time bomb experiments? You guessed it. That means that a couple of people, 4 in particular, these special ops guys, have to travel back in time a couple of days and stop those idiots from going into that underground bunker and setting off the fucking secret weapon. So, let me paint a little picture for you, because this story was pretty predictable, but that didn't stop it from being enjoyable. You've got a secret weapon that gets set off and is killing the Earth. You've got 4 special ops people armed with fucking big-ass guns and a bunch of crazy military fighting techniques and all kinds of crazy gadgets and toys. They're going back in time a couple of days. You've got a Nazi secret weapon. They're going back in time a couple of days. A Nazi weapon. That's right, you guessed it. They go back a little too far. So you've got these 4 guys trapped in 1944 Germany, and actually a cool adventure ensues. There's nothing more to say. I don't want to reveal too much. It loosely, very loosely, ties a couple of unknotted strings together from World War II. I don't really want to say anything more, but if you're looking for a cool read and you're kind of a history buff, or you have a little bit of an interest in World War II and you like history in school or something like that, this was actually a cool story. It's not for kids by any stretch of the imagination. There's a couple of tits running around, there's a lot of F-bombs running around. So, yeah, maybe high school kids. Maybe like senior year high school kids, if you're a teacher, you could get away with this shit. But I don't think so. I enjoyed it. I like Radical a lot, so I usually like a lot of their books. And no, they don't pay us to tell you that. Believe me, nobody pays us. Trust me, this is just like, it's just a cool story, and I'm telling you, you should probably grab the trade off of like Amazon or Overstock or something. So check out Time Bomb. And I want to just really quick mention that Thor for Asgard concluded, and not nearly as interesting as it was when it first started, unfortunately. And it concluded, but it didn't finish, because whoever started this massive war in Asgard that happened, and Thor needed to get his honor back and reclaim his hammer, and Odin's still gone, and either way, this thing ended, but it didn't end. There's going to be more. And like I said, you're just going to get flooded with Thor shit over the next 2 to 3 months. I don't know where the fuck they're going with this, because Thor's out real soon, unless they're coming out with a one-shot that they want to do before the movie or something. I don't know. I don't know where they're going. I don't care where they're going with it. I liked this when it first started, and Marvel dropped the ball, I fear. The artwork was really good. I like Simon Bianchi, a lot. He's a great artist, but the story kind of dropped the ball. I don't recommend you get the trade unless you're an absolute fucking crazy-ass Thor fan. And that's it. New Ultimates 5 concludes this tale. Didn't end the way I thought it was going to. This whole thing started with Loki and the Enchantress taking over the minds of all the women in the Ultimates and turning them against the guys, and then Valkyrie dies, and then Thor flips the fuck out and shit, and Thor dies, and then he comes back to life, and it was kind of back and forth. And it all led up to just a big excuse for Thor to kick the shit out of everybody. That's what happens here. Thor beats up everybody. And then is humbled by Valkyrie, who returns, kills Loki, and says, well, listen, I was human. Stop hurting them. And then he does. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's not Jeff Loeb's best work. It's not The Long Halloween by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, it's not the Red Hulk. So, you know what I mean? Can I recommend it? I guess if you're a Thor fan, yeah. But other than that, nah, save your money. One thing I don't want to recommend to you, ever, is Captain America Hail Hydra. Now, I said I was going to stick around with this issue last time. The last issue wasn't so bad. It was Captain America meeting up with Hydra in World War II. This is Captain America once again meeting up with Hydra when he gets unfrozen by the Avengers, and it's their first encounter with them. The artwork is abominable, and it's basically the whole series is going to be Hydra through the years. Raise your hand if you care. I don't see any of you raising your hand. And it's not because I'm here and you're out there in internet land. That's not why I can't see you. It's because none of you are raising your hands. Who gives a shit? Maybe the guy who invented Hydra and his kids have to care. They're like, we're sorry, Dad. What the fuck? Hydra through the years. Gives a shit. Let's end this show on something cool. Look at these things. Marvel Legends figures, man. Have you ever asked for a more badass toy? Now, I started this collection with the Hulk, what I really like about this stuff is they're drawn to scale. Look at how much bigger the Hulk is compared to, like, Spidey and Magneto and even the Juggernaut. This shit is so cool. I mean, they're really well done. They're really well articulated. They're a little stiff, so you may have to kind of break them in. Hopefully you don't break them at all, you know. But they're really well articulated. There's a lot of points to turn these characters. Unlike, you know, McFarlane toys always looked really cool too, but they were more mini statues than anything else. You couldn't play with the little bastards. So these, and I obviously had to pick up my guy Magneto because he's just awesome. And then the Juggernaut just came out. That thing's fucking, it's heavy too, man. It's like easily like a 5-pound, 6-pound figure, man. Look at that. That's fucking heavy. I'm not slamming that. I'm just making sure it don't drop completely. So if anything, I'm holding the big fucker up. Hulk is awesome. Just a really well sculpted toys. If you're looking to get a couple of cool renditions of your characters and you don't have the money or you don't want to spend all the money on these Bowen statues and Sideshow collectible statues, Marvel Legends is definitely the way to go. They're rolling out more and more figures, and they're getting nicer and nicer as they go on. I mean, they ain't totally cheap. They're like $15 to $25 a piece, but nonetheless, they're really cool. They're well sculpted. They're fun. If you want to get them for your kids to play with, they can actually be used as toys and not just sit on a shelf somewhere. So Marvel Legends figures gets a big thumbs up from this geek. So I'll see you guys next week. Let's see what the rest of the boys have to review. And happy reading. Later.
So segments. I don't know what Pete did this time in the basement, but segments. We're better off. Segments. First order of business is I was able to pick up another FF 587 from Midtown, and I opened it, and that's that. The other one is closed and never going to be opened. And again, it has nothing to do with worth or potential worth. It's just because I want to close, and that's that. So you guys can all stick it. I picked up Billy the Kid's Old Timey Oddities and Ghastly Fiend of London. 4 issues. Dark Horse is done by Eric Powell, who does the Goon, and Kyle Hotz, who doesn't. The artwork is good. I would have preferred Powell's art, but that's just because. The artwork is still good. They both wrote it. Eric Powell came up with the story. Eric Carl wrote it, and Kyle drew it. It takes place in the end of the 19th century in England, and when Jack the Ripper was doing his thing. And there's an elephant man who's in a hospital, and he can't leave because he's so big, and he's an elephant, he's deformed. And whenever there's a murder of a prostitute, and they're calling it, Jack the Ripper is responsible, there's a deform or a freak close by, so they're blaming these deforms for the murders, and they're lynching them and killing them, and they're innocent. They just happen to be wrong place, wrong time type of thing. So the Elephant Man calls upon these, what are they? They're like in a troupe of sideshow performers or something like that, for help to kind of prove that deforms aren't responsible. So and Billy the Kid is with them. And he's not a deform, he's Billy the Kid, who was a real person here in the US of A. But for some reason he's with them. And you have a woman who has tattoos, and based on people's feelings, like a word will be tattooed on her body, like lies, like if someone's lying or something like that. There's a guy who's just like a skeleton. There's a guy who's like a little midgety guy. And Billy the Kid and these people are going to prove who's actually behind the murders. Now, what you find out is, spoiler, I guess, if H.H. Holmes, who was a real person here, who we consider America's first serial killer. There's a book called Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. Not that Eric Larson, a different Eric Larson. And he basically wrote about that, what happened there. It was during when we first had the first World Fair, I believe. And he was just a maniac who would lure people to his home and kill them, and I think experiment on them. I'm not exactly sure what. I started reading the book and I never finished it. I got to actually finish it. But I like when they have a fictional story and they include real life events or real life people. It makes it interesting for me. There's just to throw out two other authors, Matthew Pearl and Caleb Carr do that too, in actual books, not comic books. I think it would be interesting to do a comic book based on those books. But the books are Dante Club, Poe Shadow, The Alienist. They have real life people in these fictional stories, and usually involving a murder, and these people have to solve it, and it's really good. I mean, the biggest comic book thing that comes to mind is League of Extraordinary Men. Even though those people weren't real people, they were characters in books. But I like that. I like when they include team-up like characters from different things, and I find that cool. So I like the idea behind this. We have real people in this fictional story, even though based on true events, Jack the Ripper thing. So you have H.H. Holmes, and you also have Jekyll and Hyde in it as well. So even though Jekyll and Hyde was a fictional character, but obviously. And to top it all off, in the back of each issue, there's a mini little Goon story. It's called Goon on Vacation. And the only thing I'm going to say is Hobo Jungle. Hobo Jungle. That's all I'm going to say is Hobo Jungle. Read it. Hobo Jungle. Nothing else you need to know. The best line, I think, of this whole thing is, okay, why does every barbecue I have end with a dead hippie being molested? That's all you gotta know. That's all you gotta know. So, I pick it up for both stories. Even if you just love the Goon enough to pick it up for the little Goon side story in the back, I would do that too. Whatever you want. So, I would recommend it for both stories. They're both good. So, and that is it. So, we'll see you hopefully next week in the basement. As long as there's not a sheet of ice reaching from wherever. I don't know where I was going with that. But it's been very slippery outside. And I'm klutzy, as you know, as it is. So, it was all I could do today from not dying. So, we'll see you next time.
Episode 6. Another segment episode, because it's freaking all ice all over New York, and well, I'm not in the mood to ski to Pete's basement. So here we are. First things first. 2 questions from our fans. Somebody asked, the $2.99 price drop from Marvel. It's long overdue. Long overdue. Marvel throws a lot of shit at us, and it's overdue. It really is. I've dropped books just because of price. Not because I don't think they could hold themselves either. It's a mixture of both, but when push comes to shove, price is always something I consider, and consider I'm still averaging around 18. I dropped it down from in the 20s. So 18 books a week, yes. Anyways, that's how I feel about the Marvel price drop. Overdue. One of our fans also asked us, who writes and pencils Batman the best? I'm 31 years old, so I don't remember Batman that much. So obviously there's some classics, Neil Adams, and whatnot. I would have loved to see Steranko on, to tell you the truth. But that's a big what if question. But it has to be the Jim Lee Jeff Loeb team up. It was fantastic, and I know Adams probably like getting ready to throw some matzo balls at me or some stupid shit. But Hush storyline was a sweet and sexy 12-issue story arc. It was fantastic. Well done, well written. It was all inclusive, but it wasn't cheesy and stereotypical. It was sexy. And it was good right up to the point Morrison himself came and shitted all over it. And that was years ago. That's how long it was still running on, and Hush was still a good character until recently. So those are 2 fan questions. Again, if you have any questions of any kind, please let us know, and we will gladly get back at you. Anyways, I'm reviewing all 18 books, so let me shut the fuck up and get to it. Irredeemable number 22. This is a fantastic series still. It's really picking up. He's captured. They're showing more aspects of that universe with the Plutonian and all that stuff. It's really... I'm glad it's picking up, because Mark Waid was kind of scaring me there for a minute. HellBoy, The Sleeping and the Dead, 2 of 2. You know, this is a really good, quaint little 1-2 punch that just, it was good. If you like horror and a little suspense and shit like that, HellBoy's been on point lately. Mike Mignola's been writing, he's been doing the covers, and that's about it. I would like him to do everything, but, you know, man's busy. Alright, whatever. Good shit still. Definitely good shit. Now, book of the week. That's coming later. Batman Beyond number 2. He fights the Justice League, and oh my god, it was fantastic. It was another good book, and I love the fact that on the cover it says drawing the line at $2.99. DC should talk shit. They should. DC's been on point with price, on point with stories. The whole Flashpoint being 14 or 15 tie-ins, all 3 issues a pop. No, but DC's been on point. Really, I can't complain about DC. And case in point, Brightest Day number 19. Oh my god, fantastic. I would recommend people to get 19 just because of the sheer cojones of it. Testicles, balls. Wow, it was just wow. Gotham City Sirens 19. Boobies on the cover. Good book. Good book. I don't know what. I mean, so the artist on the cover is Guillem March. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, dude. I love your art. I wish you'd do the interiors more often, but again, I'm pretty sure you take your time on this shit, and it probably takes a while. But hurry up, man. The story it kind of concludes, but it already leads into the next one, in which Harley's like hell bent on getting back at the Joker for being such a shitty boyfriend. But Joker, what do you expect? A loving boyfriend, really? Really? Another good one from Vertigo/DC, still $2.99. House of Mysteries number 34, Mystery 34. Good shit. This series is unbelievably not jump on friendly. This issue is the most jump on friendly point to date, and it's issue 34. I would recommend trades, because I do recommend this series, even though the fuck we ahead. But yeah, 34. Get on it if you're interested in it at all. It'll somewhat help you. It'll still leave you a little bit off, like, huh? But it's the most jump on friendly. Again, Vertigo, $2.99. I love that, $2.99. Say it with me. Every time I say $2.99, you gotta take a swig of drink or something. I don't know what. Grab your girl's titty or something. Do it. $2.99. $2.99. iZombie number 10. You can't go wrong. It's a fantastic story, and it's wonderful. It's like pulp, a little smidge of nowhere, and like, it's just fun and fantastic. You just can't go wrong. You really can't. You really can't. Now, okay, if DC had a problem this week, it was probably surprisingly enough, Secret 6 number 30. Again, $2.99. You can't go wrong with it, right? It's Italian. We're fucking Doom Patrol. Now, I do pick up like average, give or take, 18 books a week. Doom Patrol is one of them. I don't plan on changing that shit. So I'm hoping issue 31 like doesn't really screw me over and makes me go out and buy Doom Patrol, because I don't want to. I don't like Doom Patrol. Never have. Don't seem like I will. But it was a good book. It was fun, and I'm just not picking up Doom Patrol. I don't give a fuck if it is $2.99. We're in Dynamite now. We're out of $2.99 land for a while. Black Terror number 13. It's a good book. I like it. It is a fantastic. If you decide to let it go, I would clearly understand. But I'm just one of those bastards that just wants to hold on to shit, because that's me. It's interesting because he fights more villains, and they delve more into his mythos, if you will. Mythos. And it was good. It was good. It wasn't $2.99 though. It was good. The Last Phantom, number 4. Fantastic book. If you're not picking up number 4, if you're not picking up Last Phantom, then you're really not listening to us. This is good shit. This is like well done. The Alex Ross covers are gorgeous. Now, Alex Ross is uber brilliant. I'm not going to deny him that. Not all his shit is good. I don't like the coverage he's doing for Black Lightning. It's just, that whole glowing gun bullshit, no, don't work for me. This, though, is wonderful. The art inside is good. It's wonderful. It's good. The story, superb. Now, I don't know what you're going to do with a horse and a wolf in New York. Spoiler alert, by the way. But, I'm along for the ride. Okay, there was this hyped about book based on a best-selling tomb robbers journal, like Kennedy's Zoo from China. Ooh, listen, just because some shit works in China doesn't mean it's fucking gonna work in the United States. Okay? I'm just saying. But this was good. I enjoyed it. I liked it. $2.99. And you really can't go wrong. Daomu. I'm probably killing it. It's about tomb robbers again, based on the novels of tomb robber journals, in which some people rob tombs just to be greedy and be destructive. Some people rob it just to make some ends meet. And some people some people protect it. And I think this main character falls under that branch. He's just a protector of it. And it's wild. It's really good. It's really good. And $2.99. What would you do if you find out your father was a serial killer? What would you do if you found out by finding a chest in the basement of little dolls that are made out of bone and skins of the little girls you used to kill? That's what Echoes is about. Second issue of 5 from Minotaur Press, which is associated with Taka, which is associated with Image. I like it. It's kind of disturbing, but I do like it. It's really good shit, and it's really a wow book. Just wow. Really, can I not say wow enough? Wow. $2.99. Invisible, $2.99. And you know what? If Invisible was freaking $5.99, I'd still pick it up, because it's that damn good. I am so sorry I did not pick this shit up sooner. If I had some spare change, I'd go out and get the full run. I really would. I'm picking up the trades as is. It looks like 7 still. I'm lagging, okay? Don't judge. But this is the end of the Viltrumite War. It's the end of a story arc. So, but even it's still jump on friendly, because Invisibles always jump on friendly. It just always is, and it's $2.99. Wow, just wow. I mean, I didn't see it coming. What happens, and it's just ballsy. There's like cojones again. There's like so much cojones in $2.99 in this freaking segment. It's just shocking. Mice Templar, Volume 3, A Midwinter Night's Dream, number 1 and 2. 1 came out like a month ago, I guess, and I guess I didn't see it. Oops. But I picked it up because I like Volume 1 and 2. Volume 3 is even better. It's picking up full steam ahead. I highly recommend picking up the volumes, the trades. Mice Templar is very epic. Like, think Lord of the Rings meets Mice. Seriously. Really. And it's fantastic. Like, mice against rats, and then there's, you know, the other animals, the sacred owls and shit. It's really good shit. It really is. It's just, it's kind of epic. Just kind of epic. Witchblade 142, good shit. New story arc. Doesn't even have the Witchblade in it, and I love it because there's more than a fucking Witchblade comic book than just her as her boyfriend and the whole screwy universe that they're stuck in, which is paranormal. Huge amounts of paranormal activity. Everything has to do with magic and just sick shit. Eventually, especially with the combination of wow, that other comic book, which totally slips my mind right now. Oh my god. Well, anyways, they're intermingled with Cyberforce and the other team from Top Cow, and it's growing. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful universe now, and this is like sick. It's sick. It isn't drawn by Esteban Said, which is fine. The art's good. I recommend it. Ultimate Thor number 4. I did not know this was a miniseries. It came off like a miniseries, like this is the end of it. And if it is, good, because I'm getting sick and tired of cheesy Thor stories. And this is pretty cheesy, even though it kind of explains that Thor is really Thor in the universe, but powerless, and that's why he's rocking the whole gauntlet and the chest armor and the glowing shit and all that stuff. But it's good. It's $3.99, you know. DC, hopefully Marvel, hopefully do what DC did right. Yeah, I said that. $2.99, baby. It is sexy. That's it. Those are my books a week. All 18 of them. $2.99. I don't know what comes out next week. I'm not even thinking about next week. I want to go to sleep. Night. Okay. I remember. Tell me.
Color bar. Haha. Ooh, flip the camera.
Okie dokie.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the basement. As you can see, I'm joined by the Hulk, Juggernaut, Spider-Man, and Magneto. We'll get to that in a minute. That was fucking stupid. Wow. Shit. That was dumb. Alright, let's try that again. Phones on silent.
So, segments. I don't know what Pete did, and what he did to who, and where he did it, but segments.
Questions at PeteBasement.com, or start a thread on Facebook or something like that, or hit us. I think you can hit us up on Twitter. I don't really do the Twitter stuff yet, because I don't have one of them smarty phone things that goes on the internet. I got a regular little 9-button push phone. But give me time. Roger handles most of our twits. Twats are good, but not if you're married to one. Then twats are bad. I can already see fucking the steam coming out of Steve's head as he's editing this.
Before I start with the review, me and Pete just got back from... Oh, and I dropped the fucking comics.
$2.99.